What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy, and just having a great weekend so far. If you had to take a COVID test, a flu test, or a test for some other virus, I hope you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long-term issues and no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Sunday edition of the Virus Update for Sunday, April 13th, 2025. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick. Let's face it, there's a lot of different viruses out there, and you need to know what's going on with each of these viruses. That's what I do here on my channel each and every day, and on Sundays on my channel, we spend an extra amount of time talking about COVID and other viruses in wastewater to give you the latest levels of what's going on, perhaps in your community. I try and include as many places as possible, mainly in the United States. Unfortunately, there's a lot of countries that do not have wastewater data. It's a real problem. I try and keep you safe and informed of what's going on with these viruses. If you want to stay informed, just subscribe down below. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, of course share this video with anyone you know, and leave your comments in our community down below. Already, we have just a few news stories for today, not many. Then we're going to take a look at some daily data. There's not much of that either. And then we're really going to just look at a good old-fashioned Wastewater Sunday. And we're just going to go around the United States to various different areas and see what the wastewater levels are. Alrighty, here we go. In Wisconsin, beloved wheat energies, peregrine falcons, have sadly died. Yes, and it is sounding like the cause of their death is bird flu. Unfortunately, they always arrived at a nest site. It says here since 2017. Well, unfortunately, bird flu strikes yet again. We haven't heard much about bird flu in a while. The number of bird flu outbreaks that I'm seeing, or at least in terms of news stories, is dropping. It's likely still happening, and we often talk about the migration of birds. It's what we've been doing the past few weeks. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Taking a look at this, there is a measles case in Pennsylvania. Yet again, another measles case. Confirmed measles case in out-of-state visitor in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. If you're not familiar with that area, it's just southeast of Harrisburg and about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes west of Philadelphia. So, yes, yet again, another measles case. And this time, it looks like there was exposure at WellSpan Ephrata Community Hospital Emergency Department. I did tweet that out, and I'll make sure I add more about that. I'll make sure I add that to the measles tracking thread over on my website, datareport.info. All right, Mason Merchant among a trio of stars who are out for Dallas. This is the Dallas Stars, and what that is, it's a hockey team. It's a professional hockey team, ice hockey, in Texas, and it sounds like they are dealing with the flu at this time. Yes, it sounds like the flu is the issue this go around, and it could be more than one player, maybe as many as 3 players, as we were seeing here. Alrighty, a second ago I mentioned my website. Here it is, datareport.info. If you were looking up a study, maybe it's for an upcoming doctor's appointment, or maybe you just want to see, hey, are there any studies on a connection between COVID and the heart, the brain, diabetes, long COVID, the immune system, the lungs, on and on I could go. We have a whole section full of posts and threads which will link you to studies. Yeah, it will literally link you to studies in relation to this. So remember yesterday, we talked about study shows COVID-infected kids, adolescents, more likely to have heart disease. I archived it. You just go into the COVID in kids section. You click on the post there, and within that you will get a link to the study. It is that simple. And you can even go up to the search box and type in something, and who knows, something will come up. You can even check and see if a celebrity, maybe it be a sports player, political figure, whoever, see if they've had COVID. Well, there's an archive for that. Now, it's not a full and complete archive, but it's one that over time continues to grow. I don't know that it will ever be full. We'll never find out all the celebrities that have had COVID, but Yeah, and then you can find out about other viruses as well. All right, doing a recap. Texas measles outbreak, 541 confirmed cases on the most recent update. And in the United States, 712 cases in total. I don't know when the next U.S. update is going to be. Next Friday, this upcoming Friday is Good Friday, so that, I believe, is a federal holiday, so it is very well possible we may not get an update there. Texas, we will probably at least get the Tuesday update. Then after that, I'm not certain when the next update is going to be. It's possible some of these things update early, maybe on Thursday instead of the normal time on Friday. And looks like Canada, I want to show you the viral activity levels here in Canada. Well, I can tell you right now, everything in Canada has been trending lower. Nothing is in the high category at this time, but everything for some reason is coming up great out here. Apologies for that. Don't know why that is. Taking a look at the UK. Influenza positivity rate in the past week is 5%. Taking a look at what is going on with COVID in the UK, and we can see here that COVID dropped a little bit. 1,099 cases. That's 38 lower than the previous update. Deaths, 77. That's up by 13. You're seeing it say, ooh, 20.3%. Let me tell you something. It's not like we're talking hundreds of deaths. Yes, one death is too many, but we're not talking hundreds of deaths. So it's not at the alarming rates that it was early days of the pandemic, 2020, 2021. But hey, deaths are still occurring, and that is definitely concerning. Let's see if there's anything there on measles. Yes, there is. Since January, the UK has seen 213 measles cases and 37 in the past 4 weeks. All right, here's that bird migration map. And you know, some people, they're probably waiting for the hummingbirds to come. I can raise my hand for that. Well, I am patiently waiting to see the first hummingbird of the year. But take a look here. The planes, yeah, heavy migration traffic today in the hundreds of millions, almost 200 million birds migration there. That is a really high level. So with that, there could potentially be some spread of bird flu. We heard about those birds in Wisconsin that likely died of bird flu. So yes, there could be spread of bird flu with the migration to the north. All right, let's take a look at air qualities, and let's hope the air qualities today are better in the Great Lakes and Midwest than they were yesterday. Yeah, still bad, but not as bad as yesterday. The West Coast is a little worse today, and that we do not like to see. We don't like to see any coloring on this map other than green, but unfortunately, there's going to be some bad air qualities today, which is not a good thing. Taking a look at what is going on here in Pinellas County, Florida, and let's refresh this to make sure it is up to date, and it is. Alrighty, we are seeing in Pinellas County, Florida, breathing problem is showing up, sick person. We're also seeing another breathing problem call. So yeah, there are some calls to be had there at this time. In Philadelphia yesterday, hopefully there is a report. There is. Wow, and it's a low one at that. 686 EMS calls. Matter of fact, we are going to tweet that out. I always like to retweet this. That is below 700. That is nowhere near 800. That is some really, really good news at this time. Taking a look at what's going on in Montgomery County right now, we do see there is a cardiac arrest call, but it's not in Montgomery County. It's Montgomery County having to assist Berks County, Pennsylvania. So yeah, it's not in actually in Montgomery County. Taking a look at Chester County, I hope it's not as busy as that little. Okay, yeah, it is. It's pretty busy here in Chester County. Wow, look at that. This is again just west of Philadelphia. Heart problems showing up a couple times. Sick person showing up a couple times. Sometimes there's a disconnect where maybe over the weekend Philadelphia is not so busy, but suburbs are. And the times I have looked this weekend, there have been several calls, and I'm starting to notice more sick person calls in Chester County, but I'm not concerned that the viruses are going up just yet. We'll have to see what happens. If I saw a whole array of them post Easter, then I would be concerned. But take a look at this. Yeah, heart problems showing up there 3 separate times. Taking a look at the hospital situation in Pennsylvania, and we can see here Albert Einstein Medical Center, and let's see if we can pull that up on the map. Yeah, that's no, that's not what we want to see. We want to see here St. Luke's Upper Bucks campus, emergency department overcrowding, Albert Einstein Medical Center. That hospital has not had an emergency department in many years. Penn Medicine, Chester County, emergency department overcrowding. Yeah, there are several hospitals with emergency Department of Overcrowding. Behavioral health is also an issue, but again, it's not a lot of hospitals today, so that is some good news. Taking a look at what is going on in New Jersey, and we do see there is just one psychiatric issue at University Hospital. New York State, most recent update, 1,235 new cases. New York City, the hospitalizations have been dropping, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on this. There's rumblings that positivity rates may be trying to inch up again in New York City. We'll just have to see what happens there. They did have that rise there through much of March and the start of this month. Hopefully they do not see another rise again, because again, this is, like I've been saying, it would be a high baseline to start off of. All right, let's take a look at some CDC data, and you know what? We will come back to that map in just a moment. Let's start off with this. The wastewater level nationally for COVID is low, and all regions of the United States, when it comes to COVID, is dropping at this time, which is some fantastic news. Let's take a look at influenza A. I don't believe we did this on Friday, and low nationally. And we can see here it is starting to bottom out. That would be a little higher than normal for a bottoming out, so hopefully it would drop a little bit more. RSV, let's see what's going on with that. RSV actually it trickled up a little bit in the past week. It is very low though, but still it trickled up a little bit. So that is obviously not a good thing. And now taking a look at this map, and unfortunately there are a lot of grayed out areas on this map. You can see Louisiana is gray at this time. West Virginia is dealing with gray. And what does gray mean? That's no data. A lot of gray areas in Pennsylvania, gray areas in Michigan, some on the West Coast, pretty much scattered throughout the United States. We do want to just do our grand old tour here like we used to do. And we can see here, anything in orange and red, that's concerning. Those are moderate to high COVID levels. Anything in the blue, really dark blue, low levels of COVID. The lighter shades of blue are higher levels of COVID. And we can see there are some red areas showing up in New England, which obviously that is not a good thing. We do not want to see red. Anytime we see red on this map, that is relatively concerning. And we are seeing that here up near Newark, New Jersey. Take a look at this. 1.5 million population, and it is rising at this time. Now, here's part of the problem with this. Let's go over to Wastewater Scan. And Wastewater Scan does kind of match this. First off, take a look at the Northeast region. Overall, COVID is medium, and it's been rising ever so slightly. RSV is in the high category, but that is dropping at this time. Influenza A is high, but dropping. Influenza B is high. And, yeah, overall, it's been rising. And at the end, you can see there, before that wonky movement, it was really rising. HMPV has been going higher. It is high. And norovirus is still high. Now, take a look at this. We're going to go back to North Jersey for a second. And let's see here. Yeah, there is matching agreement here on the rise from Wastewater Scan and what we just saw here from the CDC. Yeah, you can see here, things are actually rising for COVID at this time in Newark. So we're going to continue to monitor that. And I know there'll be a lot of back and forth this week. Well, you know, people go to work, but Easter's coming up, so some people will go from there to New York City back. It could continue to spread, so it's something we're going to have to watch. It may also explain why the positivity rates in New York City have gone up ever so slightly. Once again, RSV, look at this. Yeah, that's inched up a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Influenza A, not calculated, and it's low at this time. It looks like it's low at this time. Influenza B, it's still up there. HMPV is still up there. Norovirus is dropping. Some detections of hepatitis A, and no detections of Mpox at this time. And you know what? Let's do one other place in the Northeast. Let's take a look at Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Remember, this was having a little bit of a rise. Looks like that has corrected and is dropping once again. RSV is low. Influenza A is still calculated at high, but take a look at this. It has really come down. I want to say that needs to be corrected to at least medium, if not low, because it does look like it has dropped. Influenza B, that's still high. HMPV, whoa, big rise going on for that. Some wonky movement at the end, but even at that, that is a big rise. Norovirus dropping, no detections of Mpox at this time. Alrighty, let's go down to Virginia, and let's see what's going on. How about we go just south of the D.C. area and see what's going on in Stafford, Virginia. And let's see here. The COVID levels are low at this time. RSV is low. Influenza A is medium. Influenza B, HMPV, EVD68 is low. Norovirus is medium. Yeah, everything else is pretty much fine there at this time. And let's also take a look at Virginia. See, a lot of things are coming up as news sites here on the CDC site. Petersburg City is rising slightly. So yeah, there are a couple areas rising. Allegheny was rising. Now that's dropping a little bit. North Carolina, for the most part, is low. There are a few orange sites there. South Carolina, still a lot of red sites here. Have these sites just not updated? Kershaw, take a look at that. It's rising at this time. How about we go over closer to what's going on by the coast? Yeah, I mean, still some moderate sites there. All right, taking a look at what is going on in Georgia. As you know, it is the Masters this weekend. So can we get closer there? I think we can. Moderate wastewater there in eastern Georgia. Not enough wastewater sites in that area. Taking a look at what's going on in Peach, Georgia. Wow, small wastewater site, but take a look at this. Wow, it is just rapidly going up. Mind you, this is all for COVID at this time. We're not taking a look at wastewater scan at the moment. We will go back to that, though. Take a look at Cobb. Cobb is still rising at this time. Florida, let's see what's going on there. And there are some rising wastewater sites there. Also a few dropping ones. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Let's go out further to the west. And let's go up to the Midwest now. And for the Midwest, you can see here, there's a lot of blue showing up. But we also want to check on what's going on with the other viruses there. And after Midwest, we'll make our way out to the West Coast. And let's go up to Ann Arbor, Michigan. We'll use wastewater scan for this one. And we can see the COVID levels at this time are relatively low. RSV still listed at high. Influenza A is medium. The value did go up a little bit. Influenza B is still high, even though it dropped. HMPV is low. EVD68 is low. Norovirus still listed high. And everything else at this time is not doing all that bad. All right, let's go out a little bit further to the west. And let's see, do I have Chicago's tab up here? Yes, I do. And let's take a look at what's going on with wastewater in Chicago here. It's kind of a spur of the moment thing. And you know what? A little bit of an increase when it comes to COVID for Chicago at this time. How about RSV? RSV continues to drop at this time. Influenza B, yeah, it's still dropping at this time. And Influenza A, you know what? It's actually a little bit of a rise on the April 5th. March 29th to April 5th actually rose a little bit for influenza in Chicago. That's not a good thing to see. All right, let's go back to the CDC site now, because remember, some states, it's the only way we can look at them is CDC site. Texas, you're generally pretty good at this time. Louisiana, a lot of gray there, which means not update. Let's take a look at Oklahoma. Cleveland, Oklahoma is dropping at this time. And yeah, Oklahoma is not doing too bad. We're starting to see wastewater sites drop once again. Tulsa is looking pretty good. Yeah, Oklahoma, here we are near Oklahoma City, I believe, 107,000 population. Yeah, dropping at this time. New Mexico, take a look at this. Everything is in the blue, but you see here little tiny upward spikes. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Arizona, as you know, or maybe you don't know, got hit really hard in the wintertime. Starting to see things drop there. At this time, everything's in the blue in Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, for the most part, is okay. But Montana does have a couple orange sites at this time. Take a look at this one, Park Montana. Whoa, that is that's really going up. That's not good to see that. Grant, Washington, everything looks okay there at this time. And we can see everything over here in Pacific Northwest, for the most part, is doing okay. A couple rising sites, but again, not terribly concerning at this time. You got to remember, the national level is low. But again, if your community's rising, don't go by the national level. If you're in Monterey, California, go by what this shows. It's going up ever so slightly for COVID at this time. And yeah, there are a few other spots that are dealing with problems. Let's see. Did we miss any states? West Virginia. I mean, there's not much. Well, there's a couple wastewater. So this one's Maryland. That's Garrett, Maryland. Mercer, West Virginia. Here we go. Here's one. This one's dropping for the most part. Kentucky, what's going on there? Wood, West Virginia. Look at that. Starting to rise. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. Jefferson, Kentucky at this time is dropping at this time. We're over near Louisville there. And Tennessee. I can't show much for Tennessee. Shelby County, Tennessee. And look, it hasn't really updated. And can we go over? How about we go over to wastewater scan? I think we can see something. Yeah, we can see Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know if the data will be complete. Let's see. Medium for COVID at this time. Low for RSV. Influenza A is low at this time. Influenza B is low. Rising ever so slightly. HMPV is low. EVD68 is low. Norovirus is listed at medium. And everything else, for the most part, is okay at this time. What was that? Hepatitis. There are some detections of that at this time. And I feel like we missed a few other states. Let's take a look at what's going on in Alabama. How about Village Creek? And we can see here, after that rise in March, COVID has come back down. RSV is low. Influenza A is low. Influenza B is low. Yeah, you're doing pretty good at this time. Just a few detections of hepatitis. Not terribly concerned about that for the moment. And Mississippi, we do have a couple wastewater sites right along the Gulf Coast. And we can see here, everything there, take a look, is for the most part, okay, not really calculated. Influenza B has gone up ever so slightly. And let's see, where else can we go? Let's go back out to, how about we check and see what's going on in Kansas, shall we? Lawrence, Kansas. We can see at this time, ever so slight rise for COVID. It is in the medium category. RSV is high. Influenza A is medium. Influenza B is high. HMPV, and that's listed high at this time. And again, sometimes they're listed high, and I don't understand why, because the values are not showing up high, but I'm just telling you what it's calculated as. Norovirus still high, and yeah, that's 100,000 pathogens. That's a problem. Hepatitis A, still a few detections of that. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Sunday edition of the virus update. We'll take a look at some more wastewater sites during the week. We'll probably do a lot of that next weekend, because next weekend's Easter. And remember, if you are testing positive for COVID right now, you're going to have to skip out on the Easter activities. I'm sorry, I have to say that, but it's true, because you do run the risk of infecting other people. And even if you start testing negative, say on Thursday, well, I'm negative now, you could end up testing positive again and feeling sick again a few days later. That happened to me back during the winter wave. And you know what? If you are sick right now, pause. Take a hydration break. Keep yourself hydrated. Even if you're not sick, pause right now for a moment. Let's hydrate ourselves, shall we? Didn't that feel good? Alrighty, folks. That does it for the Sunday edition of the virus update. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell. Of course, share this with anyone you know. And leave your comments in my community down below. And don't forget to follow me over on my new Facebook page. And I can assure you that it is slowly starting to grow. So that is a good thing. And I hope this continues to grow into a community of its own. See, we've now made it up to 38 whopping followers. Alrighty, see you all again tomorrow. Until I see you again tomorrow, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a fantastic Sunday afternoon.